Welcome back, microbiologists. Today I should say welcome back, immunologists, because we are studying the immune system. In chapter 16, we're going to talk about the innate immune system, which are non-specific defenses that our bodies have to prevent infection. It is things that you're born with, just in general, ways that your body protects you from infection. Then in chapter 17, we'll talk about more specific defenses or ways that our body learns to recognize microbes, either through an infection that your body survives or through a vaccination. So, some definitions to begin with. Immunity is the ability to ward off disease caused by microbes or caused by their products like toxins. It protects your body from infection so that you're not constantly sick and your body's not constantly being injured. Sometimes it doesn't work quite perfectly though, and it gets a little bit off kilter and might offer protection against things that are not pathogenic, something like pollen. Every spring I develop hay fever because my body is allergic to pollen. To drugs, my daughter's allergic to penicillin, so she can't take penicillin because her body starts attacking it. People can be allergic to foods or to chemicals. So something like perfume or peanuts or eggs. The opposite of immunity would be susceptibility. If someone is susceptible to a disease, they are vulnerable to it. And they are vulnerable to it because they lack immunity. Their body is not able to recognize that this is a pathogen to fight, and the infection is able to grow. Our immune system is divided into the innate immune system and the adaptive immune system, which I just discussed. Innate immunity are defenses against any pathogen, things that are present since birth. And adaptive immunity is resistance to a specific pathogen. So it's an immunity that's acquired after an infection, whether it's a natural infection or through vaccination. Innate immunity is divided into the first line of defense and the second line of defense. The first line of defense is more of a trying to keep microbes out of your body. So things like intact skin, mucous membranes and their secretions, things like mucus that are going to trap microbes. Perhaps if you breathe something in or if you eat something, it'll trap them and prevent them from getting into your body. And your normal microbiota. We've already talked about competitive exclusion. We're going to touch on it a little bit more again today. Your second line of defense is once something has gotten into your tissues to limit it from growing and to get rid of that infection. This includes phagocytes. Phagocytes are cells that do phagocytosis. This includes neutrophils, eosinophils, dendritic cells, and macrophages. Your second line of defense includes inflammation and fever and antimicrobial substances. Right now, you might be thinking you're already comfortable with those terms, and if so, then you should be very comfortable with today's lecture. You might be thinking those are a lot of words you have not heard of before, and if you haven't heard of them before, that's okay, because this first line of defense and second line of defense is what we're talking about in today's lecture. So you don't have to be able to tell me what happens in phagocytosis, and you don't have to tell me how mucous membranes can stop a microbe from coming into your body. You don't have to be able to tell me that yet, because we're going to talk about that today. So after this chapter, you'll be able to tell me all about all of those things. Then our adaptive immunity is our third line of defense. That's what we'll be talking about in chapter 17. That includes specialized lymphocytes. Our specialized lymphocytes are our T cells and our B cells. And it includes antibodies, which are produced by B cells. So for a pathogen to get into your body, whether the pathogen is a virus, a bacteria, or a fungus, it has to be able to overcome your first level of immune response, which would be your skin, your mucous membranes, and antimicrobial substances. It has to get past the second, which is inflammation, fever, and phagocytes, and then it has to get past the third line of defense, which would be your humoral and cellular immunity. There's a couple of new words. Humoral immunity would be B cells and antibodies, and cellular immunity would be your T cells. Then, for a cell in your body to be able to recognize that something is an infection, it has to be able to tell that it's different from our body. So we have defensive cells, or our white blood cells, that have receptors called toll-like receptors. So toll-like receptors are the good guys that are on our own white blood cells. These toll-like receptors are protein receptors, and they're found on the plasma membrane of our white blood cells. And they're able to bind to things called PAMPs or MAMPs. Your textbook calls them PAMPs, which stands for pathogen-associated molecular patterns, although a lot of more recent research calls them MAMPs, or microbial-associated molecular patterns. These are things that are found on microbes that are not found on our own cells. This could include something like peptidoglycan, other components of a cell wall. It could include a capsule. It could include fimbriae or a bacterial flagella. Anything that a microbe has that we don't have on our cells could be classified as a PAMP or a MAMP, that a white blood cell could bind to it and recognize, this is not found on my body, so I know this thing here is not part of me. And when those toll-like receptors on the white blood cells bind to a PAMP, it will activate the immune system, and it does that by releasing cytokines. Cytokines are like little emails that your immune system is able to send to each other to coordinate how they're going to respond. So cytokines are proteins that regulate the intensity of immune response and the duration of an immune response. They are induced by toll-like receptors binding to a PAMP, and when that happens, it will recruit macrophages and dendritic cells. They will come to the infected area and start performing phagocytosis, and it will activate T cells and B cells to start your more specific immune system. So now you can tell me which defense system is it the innate or adaptive immunity that prevents entry of microbes into the body, and what relationship do toll-like receptors have to pathogen-associated molecular patterns? Okay, so this video has really been more of an introduction to what we're talking about in 16 and 17, but there are some important concepts in there. You do need to be able to tell me what's included in each line of defense. You do need to be able to tell me what is a toll-like receptor. You need to be able to tell me how cytokines are working. I will see you back for our next video when we talk about your first line of defense. See you later.